Hi, in this video I'll show you how you can use the Figaf tool to monitor your SAP Integration Suite. We have a lot of components in place that makes it a lot easier to understand what you're building in your Integration Suite. And in this I'll cover the different things. So the first thing, and I think this is the most important one, this is our support tool. This is our alerting tool. This is what would inform you when something bad happens on your Integration Suite. And you can set it up based on considerations about if it's just failed iflows, or you want to use different considerations for it. Here we can see all the different alerts the last day or so. If we want to see details of this, we can open here. We can see the detail about what's going on. If I wanted to, I can write how we fixed this. And we can see that it is something about a concatenate string that has some invalid types. And now this is just our script executor that's causing this. But what I can then do, and this is part of the power, this is whenever I face something, I can go in and I can create or can say this is the error that we're having. So I will go in and say create new rule, script problem. Which scenario this is. We can then use XPath in the full content down here, and we can check does it fit, create this script, etc. If we change the XPath up here, so now it should evaluate as false. It gives us something that does not match the content. So this is a great way to do it, and obviously you can use all of this capability down here. Here we can write what notification we want to do, and we can send it in an email to a user, or we can send it via webhook to whatever teams, other channels that we have where we want to get this information into. We also have one of the powerful features here. This is about ignoring the message for a period of time. So once you receive a message, you will not it will not, or if you have an SFTP server down, you'll only receive one notification for each 60 minutes. And there's a lot of capabilities around here. I guess another part here about this, I don't know, I forgot to save it, is that we can go in here and ask ChatGPT or OpenAI about how do we solve this problem. This is not one of the best flows, I guess. But the general idea is we can get some ideas about what is it that we're supposed to be dealing with in this scenario. Sometimes the error is more telling about what is going on here. Here we get some input about how we can work with this. So this is the alerting tool. This is what proactively we would monitor, and you can go in, set up rules for handling all these alerts. And the basis of this was we wanted something that would allow you to put in filters for the different rules, so they would always be easy to understand and easy to resolve, not something that someone would look into an inbox and say, I got 200 errors, I'll check some of them and see what to do with it, the rest I may delete. This is make it a lot easier to see what's going on here. Cool. The next then is we have the statistics overview. This is one place where you can see what is being processed on your Integration Suite during different times or periods, making it a lot easier for you to drill in to see what's being processed. We are getting some data about TPM agreements, a lot of successful messages processed. And the idea is we can actually go in and say, okay, let's check what are the errors we are getting in this one. So we can click here. We can see we are getting these. This is then part of the monitoring section. Here we can go in and see details about it. We would have access to persist message, data store entry, and MPL attachment, all from within this view. And when we're talking about this is then this monitor here, and here we can go in and we can create different views with different filters, with artifacts, where we can go in and say, hey, I want to select some details on this data for these scenarios. Which system do we want? What the conditions? And say we only want to have specific iFlows. And then the idea is we have one way of monitoring all our integrations. We can see our script executor error here, see the details about the error. And if you want, there's also links to the iFlows. You can go in and see when this iFlow was changed, a lot of these capabilities into that. So this is the message monitoring, and I guess one of the ideas is you can also go in and, so this one would create some roles that we can give access to, and that means that a user would be able to get access to this dummy access here, and this would simplify monitoring for businesses with or users with certain criteria. We also have this monitoring operation here where we can go in and see what are the latency, message processing, how many messages have processed, and if we have some long-running processes. Not the most, it's interesting to see, and you can also go in and set criteria, but probably this is something that SAP should be monitoring and figure out what's going on. So obviously there is something here about some monitoring that takes too long time to access, and I think there was some notes on these things. We have an EDI message monitor, and this is if you want to persist a few messages for a longer period of time. We can go in and we can see what messages we have on some of these criterias. If we have decided to download these. So this is not designed to download all of your messages, but if you have something that's processing less than 10,000 messages a day, you can go in and you can create a monitor for it, say what are the different messages you want to select for this, persist data, custom headers, attribute, and then all of these will be persisted inside of the tool. So let's see what we have here in it. So we can see here we have some messages from a long time ago. We can see the data store entry here that was added as a part of this. And this gives you really a good overview of older messages that's been processed. But do notice it is not for volume. It is using the regular API, and that means some limitations. Then the last thing we added here is the event mesh monitor for Integration Suite. And a part of this is we wanted to make it easy for you as a user to see what was in the queues that you're having. So we have a queue here with some details on. So we can go in and we can see what is in this queue. And so we can see here what's actually this one. So we can see the payload, all the attributes around this. And this makes it really powerful to understand what is going on in your system. So this is part of what we do have in the monitoring capability, making it easier for you to understand what's going on in the Integration Suite. Obviously, this is a part of the DevOps suite, so we do recommend that you use the DevOps also. This is immensely powerful. There's testing, there's transport management, there's a lot of documentation you can build on top of this, making it a lot easier for you to manage the Integration Suite, because it's not just about what iFlow fails, it's also about understanding, okay, so it failed. Did we change it within the last week or so? And if we did, we can go in and investigate these things. So I hope you like this. Please do check it out. There's free trials on the Figaf website that allows you to explore what are the capabilities in terms of monitoring these capabilities. Thanks for watching.